are people not working for AMC right now? Where are any ideas? I, at least, haven't seen any change. Like, let's brainstorm and come out with ideas. Like, at least try shit.
I mean, they got to do something, because if not, like, even me, who really likes going to the movie theaters, my past 4 experiences have been negative. So something's got to change because I'm getting annoyed.
Do something, Cinemark. Try something. Life's a party, life's always a party. Let's go parlay.
Hey, what's up, baby? How we
I
doing?
feel like that should be like my ringtone. Would that be weird?
That'd be awful. Literally got awful.
Do you like I was watching Pat McAfee in an interview today, and he's like, because he was talking about how great his wife is and how supportive his wife is with his content, and she understands he got to travel and stuff, and like she has to deal with him blabbering all the time. And he's like, I can't listen to myself talk. Like, to have her deal with me talking all the time, it's like I can't even go back and watch my own stuff.
Yeah.
Do you like to watch your stuff? And because a lot of people don't like to listen to their voice.
Well, that's a lot of celebrities, like, have never even watched their own TV shows, or they don't go back and watch their movies because of performances and stuff. So, like, as an actor, you're kind of told not to rewatch your stuff, just like organically, you know, unless you're like,
You're really
super
told not to? Because it's almost like an NFL player. Like, they have a bad game or they had a good game, they go back and watch film. You don't think actors do that?
I think a lot of them don't. I think you probably watch the premiere and you might never watch your movie again. Like, it's kind of, it all depends. I think there are some actors that might want to study themselves and figure out how, but I think sometimes looking at yourself and trying to be like, oh, this is wrong, like, it's just too much, where you can learn from teachers and mentors and other professionals like in that field.
So this is a good start. I mean, we're talking movies
100%.
today.
That's what we're doing.
I have a question. So, like, as I was growing up, or even right now, I don't really understand the course to be an actor, if that makes sense. Like, you understand, like, an MLB player, you start off T-ball, then you play the machine, then you go fast pitch, and then you go AAA minor league, you get drafted, then you go to MLB. Like, you understand that course. Or like a musician or like a saxophone player, you start in beginner band in middle school, and then you go play in advanced band, jazz band, then you go on to like a musical college. What is the path for an actor? Like, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna be an actor. Is it theater? That's not always the path.
I mean, being an actor, or I guess you can really say any celebrity now, especially with the emergence of TikTok and like influencers, really interesting, like your claim to fame or like how someone gets famous. It's really out of anywhere.
Because
like,
when I think of theater, and I think of like, that's how you become an actor, that's how you learn how to act. And then most theater people, I could be wrong with this, but I feel like are good singers. So is it almost like almost every good actor is a good singer?
No, absolutely.
I know that's not the case, but it's like kind of what I see or think.
Well, there's a lot of people, how they get in acting is from theater. I mean, a lot of people who are in movies, TV shows, dramatic acting, wherever, right? They, most of the time, their first love is the theater. They come from performing on a stage and that kind of thing. With stage performance, there's really like, I mean, there's a few things, right? You can be in a musical, which you can try to be good at almost everything, which is called a triple threat. You can be good actor, good singer, good dancer. You know, then there's people, you know, who are performing who just do dancing. And then there's also just singers, right? And then you could do like professional music, like pop, if you want to go to the music industry. You know, we knew someone that went and they wanted to do opera, like they studied opera. You could also do musical instruments. Like, there's so many different paths, right? But if you're talking from an actor perspective, a lot of times those people will start on the stage, whether that's just a play, right? Like a normal play, or if they want to do more things, they'll do musicals. And then from there on out, it's probably most of them just take lessons, or
like
they
acting school or acting classes.
Well, they can do acting classes. They can major in it if they want, right? Like, I was a theater minor in college, but like, you don't go anywhere. Like, that's just like learning and defining your craft.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I wanted to be like, hey, I want to be an actor, like,
you just go to auditions.
Just sign up for auditions.
You just go to auditions. But the thing is, the more prestigious ones, the more ones that are going to get you further, most of the time they're locked off. So like, most of them are
invite only.
They're like unionized is the idea. So you have to like work so much to get into the union.
Yeah, but like, what? How do you get? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's acting. So it's literally
so
just
like
continuing.
theater,
Like, it's doing theater. It's doing short films. It's doing indie films. It's doing like, you're finding all these little things, and you're constantly building your resume, just like any other field, right? But you're working and defining your craft, and then after so much, eventually you get casted in something that is union work, where
Yeah.
you have to join the union. There's a whole process to go through the union. And then once you're unionized, you basically can only do union work from then on out. But you do want to get into that I think SAG is one of them. You want to get into that, or no, SAG is the union for Screen Actors Guild. Yeah, SAG. So SAG is your union that if you're an actor, you want to get into that, and then it'll continue like your work throughout, Hollywood. But it's just that stuff, as we say, it's just so random. You have to continually find auditions, just maintain your craft, work on your craft, and then hopefully you get picked up and you get casted in some certain role that just pushes you forward.
Because I always thought, like, how does the everyday person who's not already famous become an actor? Because you hear, like, there's obviously the comedian route where you go be a comedian.
Could be one, yeah.
Like Kevin Hart, then you go be in blockbusters. Or you could be like a WWE superstar. Dwayne The Rock Johnson started in college football, went WWE superstar, and now he's a movie star. And then you think of, like, singers like Ludacris. And then he was an artist, and now he's a pivotal actor in Fast and Furious. So there's other routes, but I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't know how if you didn't already become, I don't know.
If you're a celebrity, it's way easier to get in other fields because you're already famous, right? Like I'm Ludacris. I already have so many huge connections.
Well, it's like Addison Rae's already in a Netflix film.
Right, yeah, so she already has
no business being in a Netflix film.
No, but I know she wanted, she wanted to do acting. You could say the same thing about Dixie D'Amelio, right?
Yeah.
She wants to do singing. It's like her fame of TikTok gained her an audience where she was more valuable and more interesting to the music industry and to producers because she already had a backing.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, cool. It's like you can kind of sing, or like we can help you get better. We can get you lessons. We can, push this along, we already know we're almost like guaranteed like something.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Why do you think Britney Spears and Justin Bieber are so successful?
Yeah.
Attractive young superstars who girls or guys like, big followings. They get handed these songs. I mean, I'm a big Justin Bieber guy. I'm not going to try to bash him, but he gets handed these songs because of his image and his mannerisms, and people love him, and he comes with the star stuff.
And then he just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Because that's what
and
they
if
want.
Justin Bieber was like, hey, I want to be in a movie, most producers and most people be like, yeah, it'd be good for our movie. We can advertise it that Bieber's in the movie, and like we can sell this and that, and it's good for everybody. So
did you see where Dixie who won a Nickelodeon award?
Yeah, Dix. I mean,
for
Mr.
what?
I think it was like female
artist of the year.
I don't know what it was. It might have been singing, or it was probably
like TikTok award or something?
I think Charlie won too. Charlie was there. Mr. Beast won for like gaming. He was like a YouTube gamer.
What made me laugh was I saw on TikTok at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. That's what it's called. Jack Harlow performed.
Really?
He performed, and all you see is him performing on the stage, talking about smacking, leaving his handprint on a girl's ass cheek, and all these little kids are in the crowd like, yeah. How are they going to let Jack Harlow perform at the Kids' Choice Awards?
So she won the favorite social music star award.
So she won a singing award. That's
wild, bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're going to get into some movie talk. But hey, we haven't shout out our boys over there in Australia. Scuba beer.
Scuba beer, baby.
Crack. We haven't drank on the show in a while. That's our fault.
That's true.
That's our fault. I'm not
It's
an
also
alcoholic.
the way that our show works is that I have to drive usually for 2 hours.
True. Maybe I'll just get dropped off and just get shit-faced. But then my mom doesn't like when that happens because then show goes off the rails. It's already off the rails when I'm sober, let alone when I'm hammered.
But we love Scuba beer. If you don't already know, it's a drinking tool. Our buddies down under in Australia. And a really cool drinking tool that we use on the show all the time. You can get your own if you're on YouTube and you see what we're using. If you don't know what we're talking about already, but you can get your own 10% off with our code Life's a Party at scubabeer.com. The link is in our bio and our social media, so go check that out. And Ryan, off to you.
If you listen to us and you enjoy our show and you hear that discount code, Scuba beer is the best drinking tools. They have the best drinking tools. They have cans, bottle drinking tools. I mean, they truly have, like, we don't just say it just to say it.
I actually really like their stuff.
They do have the best drinking tools. So if you're a partier and you're in college or whatnot, use our code. Check out Scuba beer. Like Paul said, links in our bio. They're dope. I'm just delaying this because this is ice cold.
Yeah, you want
to
warm that
to
beer
chug an ice cold beer. I'll try my best. Here we go, Scuba beer from down under.
Yeah, 10% off with our code Life's a Party at scubabeer.com. Get one of your own. They're awesome. How was it?
Ice.
Ice cold, baby.
But that was for you guys down under.
Down under.
Not the dead people, the people in Australia.
Australia. But yeah, we're going to be doing a movie-heavy show as Ryan catches his
I
breath a
thought you
little
were about
bit.
to say we were going to Australia.
No. But we're going to be doing a movie-heavy show. Just give you a heads up. And this is...
So if you don't like movies, you can get the fuck out of here.
No, but why are you here? Life's a party. We talk about the world of entertainment. We love talking about the movie industry. Summer movie season is right around the corner.
Yes, so here we go. I actually looked up before we get into this, because what I do sometimes when I'm bored on like a Friday night, I'll be like, hey Siri, movies now playing. And then she'll show me the list, and maybe I'll go to the movies. There was like 5 playing. Dude.
That's normal right now. Because
that sucks.
You realize most of those like lower budget films that used to go to the movie theaters, they go straight to streaming now.
That's what, because
so
like
they're not going to the theater.
Mark Wahlberg came out with that new movie where he's like a priest.
It's not where it's straight streaming?
No, it's in the movie theater, but that was what happened. It came up on my iPhone, and Gab, my girlfriend, was like, that's in the movie theater? So that's like what people are saying now. Like, they're almost shocked that movies are being released first in the movie theater. She's like, that's getting premiered in the movie theater? I was like, that's just crazy how times are changing.
Yeah, people are expecting big blockbuster films to hit the theater because you're paying a premium price. And as we're going to be talking about, like, reasons why, what do the movie theaters and people have to do to get people back into the seats and to go pay that premium price at a movie theater. It's like a lot of these movies don't even consider them large enough that they would get their return by putting it in the theater, that they put it straight to streaming because the streaming service is usually going to find it more valuable to them to continue having the number of subscribers and to keep people attached to their service. They'd rather just pay the studio, here's $100 million, we'll take your movie, because it's more valuable to them and their service.
With that being said, we found a Reddit post online that explained how movie theaters, Paul, could improve. Just like you said, they got to figure out ways to get people in the movie theaters, to stop letting these movies release, debut on streaming services. How do we get more than 5 movies to play every Friday night? Let's get these people back in the movie theater. This Reddit post has some very, very interesting ideas that we're going to talk about. So let's go down the list. We're going to see if we agree or disagree. I almost wish that Paul was shit-faced. Sorry. Smacked up. As if I don't apologize for my other obscene language. But I wish Paul was a little smacked up for this because I know he's going to get heated for this.
Yeah, we did a segment a long time ago where we came up with ideas that we think the future of the movie-going experience, whether that's like different seats or different types of movies or like what.
But none of these.
But none of these. These are very different, interesting, and I think a lot of these are pretty good, actually. So the first one, this is an idea, to allow patrons to bring in outside food. Concessions, as we know, at the movie theaters are super high. But that is the thing. That's how most of them actually make their money, and it's out of control. We have a theater with a section that has a table for every 2 seats, and you can order food off a menu. That's pretty cool.
So you've mentioned before, Paul, that you've been to a movie theater where you can order like shrimp and shit, right? But it's always the funny or the running bit that's been going on for years is like, how do we sneak the candy we get from the dollar store into the movie theaters because of concession? Every episode there is one of these moments.
T-shirt's getting bigger and bigger.
That's because I'm in the process of watching Succession.
Okay.
Good show. But the concession stands are very pricey, so it's a running bit about how we can sneak in the food, the cheap food, so we can eat while we're watching the movie. And it always makes me laugh about how those TikToks where it's like they'll tape a bunch of random candy that's obviously in plain sight to see if they can get into the movie theater. But you've been to a restaurant, not a restaurant. You've been to a movie theater that actually served food. I've never done that.
Yeah. So 2 things.
I'm hammer. I don't even know what's going on here.
No, but 2 things. The first is that I have been to those theaters. They're called dine-in theaters.
Creative name.
I mean, simple, right? Dine-in movie theaters where you go and it's more like a restaurant type menu options that you can get like a hamburger, you can get chicken, you can get a salad, you can get like a bunch of stuff, right? And it's like, okay, cool. Like I'll sit in my my seat. Usually you would walk in prior to you sitting down, you'd go up to the menu, you see the menu, you do your order. They would ask you for your seat number. And then within, the 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes now, the previews, a waiter would come with your food, drop it down to your seat, and you'd be good to go.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is there, because in baseball, they have like a 7th inning cutoff where it's like no more beer. Is there a time limit where it's like, okay, stop ordering food here because we don't want like waiters or waitresses walking around? Because that was like that with the comedy. When we went to the comedy club when I performed, and like I'm watching the playback of me performing, they're just like waitresses and waiters flying around, ducking in front, cutting off the camera, cutting people's vision because they're taking orders, bringing drinks. Like, to see that during a movie is not something that I would want, or like it's distracting to me. So I believe that you should be allowed to bring food in, but at the same time, I told the story way back on the podcast where I was sitting watching Space Jam. The dude came in with Taco Bell, and now I'm got taco breath next to me while I'm watching Space Jam. And I didn't like it. He was crunching with his Nacho Supreme. So I don't know. Like, where do you stand with this, Paul? Where you think you should bring outside food? Like, it's a tough.
So
you can't lower the prices. You got to make money, I guess.
The biggest problem with the theaters is like they can't lower the prices of the concession stand, because even though they are super high, that is how the theater makes the money. It's how it runs, you know. Or there's got to be some better deal within the studios. Like, the studios and the theaters have to come together and make some better deal for the consumer, because unfortunately it's just not going to work for the theater company, like AMC, Cinemark, Regal, whoever, to lower the food. But there's always gonna be people sneaking food in.
What if?
Yeah.
Okay, so now a lot of people, including me and my girlfriend, we order tickets on our app, right?
Yeah.
What if? So say 8:30 p.m. movie Friday night, you're buying your tickets online. What if while you're buying your seat, because now you got to pick your seat, you order what you want to eat, and you pay with the ticket price and the food price at once. So when you show up, it's almost like a delivery service where you show up to your seat, and on your seat is your food already to eat.
So they have, you're close. They have something very similar where you could, like AMC, for example, right?
Tell me it's a good idea.
It's already happened. It's already a thing. So, like, for AMC, for example, like, when you order your ticket, what they've been trying to do now is they want to sell more food. That's the idea, right? So before you check out for your full ticket, they'll be like, hey, do you want to add on food? And recently, I've been doing that where I'll add my popcorn and my drink, and they'll basically give me the cup of the popcorn, and it's at the, like, takeout window.
Right.
And I show up, it tells you, like, a time. It's like, we'll be available 10 minutes or, like, 5 minutes after your movie starts, whatever. So I'm like, you know, for the previews. And you'll go in and I'll grab it. You know, I don't want...
It's like a carnival thing. Like, here's my ticket of my...
Yeah,
I ordered popcorn
It's
already.
like online ordering for anything.
But I guess that doesn't defeat the purpose of, like, the prices are still going to be the same.
Yeah, everything's going to be the same. I mean, I don't want to be walking a theater and then seeing random food, like, on my seat, because, there was a lot of people in that theater. Somebody could have touched it. It's super easily to be stolen.
Yes, COVID. So, here's a question. Would you rather the ticket prices be, like, astronomical? Like, if they were allowed outside food, they would have to skyrocket the price of a ticket of a movie theater.
Yeah, the price, if they allowed outside food.
So we have no food at the movie theaters. Everything's just brought in.
It's like BYOF.
PYOF, bring your own food to the movie theater. But the ticket prices are like...
It's going to have to be higher, because then they're going to have to try to make their returns.
I'd almost rather just buy the price of popcorn.
And then, because that way you get to decide. And it says, hey, do I want to spend the extra money? Or you can continue what you want to do and sneak in your food. I mean, this was wild. This guy snuck in a full lobster dinner to the movies. So he had like a lobster. He put it like on his, where like a sweatshirt where your arms would go, like that little pouch area. And he did that, and his buddy would tape it to him. And then he like put over a sweatshirt, and he just walked in. He looked like he was big. He was a fat dude. And he pulled in, and then in the middle of the movie, you just see him like whip out this whole lobster dinner. So people will continue to put food in and sneak it in.
I'm gonna say,
let them do it.
I don't think there's a solution.
Not with food.
With food and the ticket prices and the concession prices, there's no fix. You could sit here and think all you want, let people bring in food. There's no solution.
No.
All right, next one is provide security that will control noise, enforce cell phone rules, protect people from one another, etc., etc. Make people feel safer. So it's almost as if, like, if you think of like a basketball game or stadium, and you have the usher there, you would have a security guard, or like you're in high school, they'd have the police officer standing in the corner of the doorway while the cafeteria lunch is going on. You would have security members sit there on a stool or stand there for the entire movie to enforce the rules. Because if something ever happens in a movie theater, like, what do you got? You got to like call the movie theater or go out into you're missing the movie. You got to go out. You got to be like, hey, this guy's causing a ruckus. Then they don't see that guy causing a ruckus. They got to trust your word on it. So it's like, why not? Why? That's a good idea, I feel like.
I 100% agree with this idea. The only problem is, though, like,
paying people.
It's just, one, I think, yeah, just paying a lot of people, right? So depending on how many theaters you have, say you have 16 theaters at once, maybe 11 are running, maybe like at all times you have 11 out of the 16 run. That's 11 more people you have to pay, 8 hours a day. What's going to happen is then the ticket price or the concessions, they'll rise because they have to pay those extra workers. But the thing is, I 100% agree with that because lately, and it really sucks, man. Like lately, I've had really bad experiences at the movies. Like, what I saw something recently where the guy in front, it was like just these two guys like completely on their phone, and I'm sitting there waiting. It was the first 10 minutes of the movie, completely on their phone. I was like, what's going on? Like it just started, and then eventually they stopped, and we were fine for the rest of the movie. But I said, for the last 4 movies I've seen, I've had issues where for a really long time I wasn't having issues, and maybe this is people after COVID. And people coming back to the theater where they were getting away with all this in their house because it's their house, right? They can do whatever they want. Yeah. They're watching the movie at their own pace. They can pull out their phone. They can talk to their friends. And I would love to have an usher.
Do you think it would cause disruption? Almost like if you're flying like an airplane and someone refuses to put their mask on, like you can't leave until like that person gets off the plane, and it's like it could cause a disruption mid-movie.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I guess the phone's disrupting you in the whole movie anyway. Why not escalate it for like a disruption for a good 20 seconds?
30 seconds, a minute, get the guy out of there or tell him to shut the hell up.
I think it's a great idea. I think they should do it.
Just have a random dude in the back, just like monitor.
Like a bouncer. Like a bar bouncer, but they're the bouncer of the movie theater.
And if
you could just give them like a lower ticket price and just say, hey, you can watch the movie, but you also got to make sure no one's causing a ruckus in there.
You can have a discount.
You can have a discount.
You are the security guard.
Yeah, I don't know.
For Kung Fu Panda 3. Theater 5.
Yeah. It would just be hard to find people like that.
No, you can't do that.
You have to just pay.
They gotta like pass security check and shit. Yeah. That would. I mean, I like the chiming in over there with your brand new mic and your brand new haircut, but that's not plausible, producer Drew.
It's gonna be ridiculously hard, but I would
there's
prefer
mall cops.
Yeah, but it's just so many people. You got to realize how many movies are going on in that theater at the same time.
Apparently not that much. There's 5 movies playing Friday nights.
Yeah, but every single time the movie's playing.
And also that's a good gig.
To sit, yeah, I mean it's super easy.
It's like when guys like I see like ushers at like Sixers playoff games, and they're like I was at Tom Segura, Madison Square Garden, the Hulu Center. They're ushering, but they're watching. They get to see Tom. They're getting paid to watch Tom Segura's set.
Yeah, but how many times do you want to see Kung Fu Panda 3?
And then they can't text. That's kind of You're all right, Ryan. You got Theater 5 today. We're showing Kung Fu Panda for 13 straight hours. Is that okay with you? No, it's not okay with me.
So I mean, they got to do something because if not, like even me, who really likes going to the movie theaters, my past 4 experiences have been negative. So something's got to change because I'm getting annoyed. Next one.
This is what I wish he was having.
Next one. Provide one admission for as many movies in a given period. So say like 6 hours. You'll sell more food and drink, and families will make it an all-day experience, like an amusement park or going to a baseball game. One ticket, say examples like $40. To lower the seat, you stick your ticket into a slot. Once you're beyond your time limit, you can no longer go into any more theaters. I like the idea of saying, hey, you pay a more premium price, but you get to stay here and just like find an open. The problem is now seats are like reserve seats. But like if you did this 10 years ago, I mean, it was so easy to sneak into a double movie. Like people would be like, oh, I'm going to a noon movie. They get out 2:30. They look at their friends and be like, you just want to go?
Yeah, we would go and I'd text my mom and be like, we're staying for another movie. It's like, well, you didn't buy tickets for that movie, Ryan. Well, yeah, no shit. I'm breaking the law, Mom.
You're like 15 and you just go into it was super easy.
We saw Bad Teacher one time. We did that. You remember that?
I do remember.
Isn't that Cameron Diaz? That movie was trash.
I remember that movie. But I mean, the only thing is, think about how long a movie is. So say it's 2 hours.
That's what I was
right?
saying. I'm done after 1.
A lot of people don't want to sit through 2. And you're telling me a family of 4 with 2 young kids who barely probably got through 1 movie?
Yeah, the attention span is not there for a 5-year-old.
It's not going to be there.
Like you go to an amusement park, there's different rides. You're walking around. Like my ass hurts sitting in the seat for an hour doing the show. I do it for you guys, but my ass hurts after an hour. Maybe I just need a better. But like I like the idea
Yeah.
Just
doesn't seem too reasonable, unfortunately.
And like you also can have problems where like 8th graders, because they go like they go loiter at like a Wawa down the shore, and they're just like hanging out at the Wawa, or trust me, this is gonna relate. Or they're like hanging out loitering at the mall. This gives them an opportunity, like, oh, I got a ticket to hang around the movie theater for 8 hours, and they're just like hanging around the hallways, bouncing around the movie theaters. Yeah. People are coming in. I think at this point, people are coming in and out during the movie. You would think, right? Or because it says you would put your admission ticket in your seat and it would show your time. But like, yeah, you get to just roam the movie theater. That would be awful. 6 hours.
That would be awful to have
and
so
just
many
people coming in and out. Like, oh, this is my 4th movie. I didn't like Nacho Libre. I left halfway. Now I'm in Spider-Man 3. Can you like? I missed like the first 10 minutes. Like, it's just like. There's a lot of things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
I like the thought process, though. It just doesn't, I don't feel like it works for amusement parks. I don't know if it works for movie theaters. All right, the next one. This one's an interesting one. So, provide headphones. So, Dr. Dre can have a partnership with a theater chain and provide mandatory beats for every seat. So, bring baby wipes. You can clean them off. People will be more attentive and quiet with the headphones on. Now, this, I feel like, takes away from the experience of going to the movies. You like that sound and the loudness, and like that's not my thing to put headphones on and just watch a movie in my seat. That's weird. It would help with like other people talking and being distracted, but it takes away from the full movie experience, in my opinion. But I guess you can't really relate it. Have you ever done the silent disco?
I have. It would be the same idea, almost like.
Did you like the silent disco?
I like the silent disco, but the fun thing about the silent disco is that you get to change channels. So it's like, oh, I'm
so
listening
people
to
are
this
listening
for 5
to it
minutes.
different.
Yeah, I mean, silent disco normally, I believe, at least my experience, there were 3 colors and 3 channels you could listen to while on the dance floor. It'd be like red, blue, and green, and they're all different types of music. They were all playing different types of things, whatever. And if you saw a majority of the dance floor red, you may be like, oh, cool. Like, everyone's vibing. What's red? Turn on red. You're like, oh, I like this. And then you would stay there for 5 minutes and be like, no, let's switch to blue. Let's see what's on blue. And then you're on blue, and then you see the rest of the room maybe follow you or follow a few friends. And it's like you constantly are switching, and it's keeping your attention and vibe. Where with a movie, dude, adding awful. Like, I'd rather just stay home. Like, if I can be in my bed, not having to put anything extra on my head and just watch the movie in the comfort of my house, I'm doing that 100%. Or having to go to a place to then put on headphones for 2 hours, dude, it's not worth it.
This doesn't really apply, but I don't know if we talked about this on the show or if it was. I always get confused because our conversations on the show sound a lot like the conversations we have off the show.
That's true. We're just constantly talking about this stuff.
But what's the things you should put? Well, Dana White talked about having a UFC fight in the metaverse,
like a VR,
and like a VR,
the Oculus?
And you would just put it on, and you'd have a first row seat at like a main event UFC fight. That wouldn't be a good idea for a movie.
No.
Absolutely
not.
So recently, I was looking into this. AMC is doing a partnership right now where they're doing like VR experiences. It's a small theater. It fits like 10. And you're basic. I don't know exactly what it is, but there was like a How to Train Your Dragon one. There was like a prehistoric one with dinosaurs. I don't know. I was trying to look more into the details of it, but it's I believe it's like almost at least an hour, 2 hour movie. It was $20. The ticket was like $20, and you would sit there, and it was like it was just a better experience. Like a lot more was going on, and it was kind of like a journey experience where it was more VR related. I got to look into it more, but it was interesting to see that AMC, obviously the #1 movie chain in the world, I believe, is moving into that space of virtual reality and different types of storytelling in their theaters other than the traditional movie.
My question is are people not working for AMC right now? Like, where are any ideas? Like, where has this idea been? If you're seeing your numbers, like I would hope that like the AMC CEO or like the Cinemark marketing team or something go through like quarterly numbers and be like, we're fucked. Like, let's brainstorm and come out with ideas. That's the thing with movie theaters. I at least haven't seen any changes.
I think one of the coolest things,
like, at least try shit.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things out of the pandemic was the idea of like, hey, for $100 I can rent the theater for 2 hours. Because I mean, they weren't. Now I guess with movies coming back, they might not have the open theaters. Like it might be more profitable for AMC to be like, hey, we'll take this movie, other than like me coming in for an hour and paying $100. But the idea of like, how dope would it be that I could host, NBA playoffs are coming, or right and playing right now, where it's like I want to have a Game 7 at the AMC.
Yeah.
I'll bring all my food. If I could bring beer and like stuff, and I'll pay $200 for the 2 hours in the theater. I get up to maybe 15 friends, 20 friends, or whatever it is. Like I would, and then you say you get 20 friends, you all pay $10. It's like
that great idea. So now I would think movie theaters are having horrible numbers. Let's redesign a fucking movie theater. Maybe we take the seats out. We put in something else where people can socialize while the game's going on.
Well, yeah.
Or let's do something like, I don't know, like a fucking balcony. I don't know. There's something different about the room, maybe.
Maybe but so then where does it become the difference of like a movie theater and almost a bar? Like if you like a sports bar,
yeah.
right? You're like, hey, I'm gonna take out this theater, add tables, add a bar, add
Sports
some food.
bars don't have that big of a screen. One screen.
It would be cool if you renovate out of the 16 theaters, you renovate 2 and make it like a different type of setting.
At least try it.
Yeah, it might be interesting.
I was thinking about like where could they get like physical. This was a horrible idea, but I'm just gonna say it just because. But like people just like what's the call when they have not Zumba classes? When they pedal the bike.
Oh,
Peloton class?
Peloton, yeah.
Do Peloton class. Like that. Like you can take that big screen, right?
Yeah.
You take the fucking seats out, Cinemark. You have Peloton classes with a big ass screen. You have like virtual things where you can like pedal on a bike or something and you're going through ET land. I don't know. Shit like that. You're renting out, you have the space and you have the big screen. What can you do with a big screen and the space? I mean, maybe something with golf.
I don't know. That sounds like something that Giant Fitness should do with VR. It probably work.
Maybe
even
you play
better.
like VR golf and you add a fucking drape over top of your big ass screen and you have that area. I know there's places like that, but make some rooms. I understand because you want to add the movie element. Do maybe meet and greets. All right, let's get like this movie's coming out. We'll pay X amount of these. Like they're gonna be here. I don't know. It's just
there's a bunch of ideas.
Because there's not much of this. Because you're going to the movies to watch a brand new film. And you're to sit there and watch it. That's what you want to watch. But like, it's not happening anymore. They might be done.
But the different, I think,
there might be no movie theaters.
You were saying earlier, like, why haven't they come up with something? Also, you trying to figure out what they should do now.
I think the problem you have is that people are finding the idea of watching. I mean, Andrew was talking about this before the show. The idea of watching the video or watching the movie, I don't think is going anywhere. Like the storytelling aspect, we're going to continue to want to watch and be a part of and enjoy. But the way we're consuming it has becoming different, where having the comfort of your home, having to be able to pause the film, go to the bathroom, check social media. The idea, like even this idea, say the TV shows that are dropping, right? The idea of like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, when it was dropping, was a huge event. It was like 8 o'clock Sunday night or whatever time it dropped. It would drop and it was tweeted. It was like an experience. Like you had to be caught up because you wanted to be in that environment. And that's what you talk about. You say, hey, I want to go see, Conor McGregor fight. It's like a pop culture event. Like I want to be there. I want to watch it no matter what. Even if you like UFC, you don't like UFC. And it's the same thing with Game of Thrones, where like people were trying to catch up and be a part of it because it was just so ingrained in pop culture and in the moment where people didn't want to miss that. And there has to be another element where that's why I think, the movies that are only really working right now are movies like Spider-Man No Way Home, where people go, the whole theater's packed. It's an experience. People are clapping, cheering. Not everyone likes that. And the thing is, those people then will wait for it. But that's where you can charge that premium price. That's when people will want to go and you're selling those tickets. So, I mean, right now I see the future being premium movies and like pop culture, blockbuster filmmaking. And if it's not, it has to be something VR related. That's like, maybe it's a Knives Out type movie where it's not a huge blockbuster, but people are still interested in it. And what I can do is we can pause the movie and walk around the crime scene. You know what I mean? Like how cool would that be?
That's what I was going to say. Like another idea is like, just break it into categories. Be like, all right, we have these VR. All right, I almost think of it like an escape room. Like we have these different rooms.
Or like
you got the blockbuster room, you got the VR room, and we got the interactive room. For an example, on Netflix, me and Gab, my girlfriend, are scrolling, Trivia Crack is on Netflix.
I saw that.
She's like, oh, trivia fiend she is. She likes Jeopardy. She's like, can we play? We play.
So
it.
you
We're
play
playing
it on
trivia.
Netflix?
You play with your remote.
Oh, that's wild.
On Netflix. It's an interactive Trivia Crack. You're playing Trivia Crack on Netflix. And so why not have those interactive showings in a movie theater? Be like, all right, we have these blockbusters showing today. Spider-Man's coming out today. We got this interactive. You could play Trivia Crack, whatever. Or you could go into these VR world and go and play golf or walk the scene of Knives Out and or what was that Black Mirror or whatever they had on Netflix where you pick the destiny of the. You gotta do that.
The problem was with interactive stuff, it's a lot more expensive to do because if you have different branches of different things, it's very expensive. With video games, that's pretty easy for you to be able to do.
But even video games,
Video
how much?
games. Why don't you rent out a video game section?
There should. I mean, how dope would that be?
I know there are a lot of people that use like projectors, like throw projectors to have a gaming session. But another thing I was thinking of is instead of just having one large theater, why not just have maybe like take that one theater and make 9 or so smaller theaters in there, and you can rent out a smaller one for you and your friends instead. At least
what's IMAX? Because like another idea that they had this Reddit page is that make every movie IMAX theater.
Oof.
Is that what that is?
No,
IMAX is like when you want really high quality, that's where you turn to IMAX. I think isn't IMAX film like they still use like actual cellulite film?
IMAX films they're filmed on IMAX cameras. It's basically the aspect ratio that you're shooting in. It's a wider lens. It's like insane.
So not every movie can be IMAX. It has to be
unless you
shot.
shot. Yeah, I mean, the best quality you're gonna get is if the movie was shot on IMAX. I mean, different theaters have their own branded version of like what their best theater is. The best seats, the best sound system, whatever. Cinemark has like Cinemark XD. Amazon or AMC has Prime. And then you can also like IMAX. IMAX is a company that would go into a theater, renovate the theater, and it would become an IMAX theater. And then that's why the ticket price is usually higher because you're paying for a higher quality product, and that wherever that IMAX theater is in, whether that be Cinemark, Regal, AMC, whatever, those companies have to pay IMAX like a percentage of the cut, as well as whoever the studio that produced the film. But you can make it where it's like, but most theaters.
So like, what's the advantage of like, would I be able to tell the difference between an IMAX movie and
you should be, yeah. It's just usually the screen is a lot bigger. The theater you're sitting in is a lot larger. It's just designed for IMAX because it's a more premium theater going experience.
I probably know the answer to this because probably just don't have the money. But you accidentally said I think you accidentally said Amazon Theater.
I said Amazon Prime because AMC's premium theater is called AMC Prime.
I just thought about it because I went to Madison Square Garden and they have another venue right in Madison Square Garden called the Hulu Center. If Cinemark's hurting that bad, maybe I guess the answer is they don't have enough money. Why not try and make like a Cinemark Center? If that makes sense.
So what do you mean?
A smaller venue that's a theater based that you could do like magician shows or comedians or do like gaming tournaments and shit like that.
But then it's more of a movie
yeah, I know it takes
company.
away
Well, it's like a theater company expanding into the world of just almost like projecting. Like,
yeah, why not though?
I mean, it could be if that's their plan, if they want to get out of the movie space.
Because like Amazon streaming going in the NFL, like you gotta adapt. I just feel like they're not doing anything. Like the Hulu, who would have thought that Hulu, a streaming service, would be called like the Hulu Center and have a small theater? I don't know. It's just something to think about. Like let's not knock down, but let's spend some money on this one Cinemark and let's try to see if we can get we'll run in like small bands or we'll run in like comedians, and that's one way to make money for Cinemark, and you're still in that theater kind of realm. Well, I know it's not movies, but
it'd be interesting where they have specific venues of or even they go into a local place where they take over and they say, hey, we'll renovate this space for you with our knowledge of what's the best acoustically and the best visual representations and stuff.
Right.
What's their knowledge with it? They can go in and create the best setup for a band, a comedian, any type of entertainer or performer other than just a movie.
Do you think do you think an event would work? I know you say that people get tired after one movie, but if you think of Cinemark, why can't Cinemark host an event? I don't know if they've done this. I doubt it because if you look at their stock price. But
sounds like someone that has a lot of Cinemark
I know they had
stock.
the Sundance Festival.
Yeah,
is that where they show
festivals.
new? Why not have a Cinemark Film Festival or some shit? I know we're talking outside movie theaters now. We're kind of talking about the company itself in Cinemark.
Well, I really think cool fan events are dope. When I think it was Iron Man 3. When Iron Man 3 came out, they did like, or even the Batman, say the Dark Knight trilogy. When that third film came out, Dark Knight Rises, you could buy a ticket and it was like you watch Batman Begins and you watch The Dark Knight and then you watch Dark Knight Rises and you get to watch all three of those films for like a premium price. And I think more events like that for the diehard fans where you'll probably get your return on investment and like just make sure those theaters are filled. You can't do it all the time, but that might be in a route too, where you start catering to what's called a cinephile, where like people who really like movies who will pay that price. And I think the right direction is a subscription based service where AMC right now, like I'm an AMC A-list member. Thank you. I can't, dude. I just buy it and just show up. I don't even know what it's called anymore. My credit card gets charged, whatever, right? But I pay. I think it's $23 a month, and I get to see I get to see up to 3 movies a week. As long as I go to 2 movies a month, I break even. When I was in college, I was seeing at least a movie a week, maybe 2. Right now, I'm probably seeing 2 to 3 movies a month. So I'm still breaking even and still returning on my profit. But at least it's keeping people who have a subscription price like staying at the movies. And I think Cinemark has a service, but it sucks. It's like I don't know why anyone would ever buy it. It doesn't make any sense. AMC's is actually pretty good, and it's
That's what I'm saying. Like whoever's up top in Cinemark, they're not figuring it out. I got one last thing here. So do you know how McDonald's did the Monopoly campaign?
Yeah.
Where like you'd buy like a large fry and you rip it off and you try to get the Monopoly board.
Do it on popcorn buckets?
Do it on popcorn buckets, and you go into the movies, and every time you see a movie, you're building towards something, to some free shit or some Cinemark experience.
Yeah.
Do something, Cinemark. We just gave you a fucking shit ton of things you can try.
Yeah.
Try something, because they're not trying. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, movie theater business they're going out of business. Oh, streaming service is taking over." Yeah, because the movie theater business is not doing shit.
All right, so wait, there's one more idea on here before we end our show. This one is interesting, but it's probably not the best. This is each seat will have a command center, so like an iPad, that they can have trivia questions before the movie, interact with people. You can win points, maybe like an amusement park or games, or you can maybe win like a food item or a popcorn item or something. You can also click on things that tell the patron a little bit about the actor, some extra information about the movie, etc. And you can also buy the soundtrack or download a song that you like when you're watching the movie to your phone or your personal account. Just make it a more interactive experience altogether.
Good idea, but I mean, this is what we're trying to take away. People.
Good idea, but dude, the screen is gonna murder people.
Especially iPads. Those things
like,
are bright.
like, you hear the song playing, or you just see some guy.
Yeah. Then it could probably get in the way of the people behind you. So
Siri, Shazam this song. Like awful thing. Adding screens to the movies is a terrible idea. Maybe something prior. I kind of like that idea.
Or you get like a access code or some shit after.
Well, Cinemark. Let's talk about Cinemark. Did a cool thing back in the day.
They do nothing cool.
They did a cool idea to try to keep people off their phones.
I know exactly what you're doing because I had this app.
I forget exactly what it was called, but I remember when I would go to Cinemark all the time. You would go into the app and then you would like say that you're watching a movie and you'd press the button and it would basically turn your screen like on Do Not Disturb and turn your screen off. And then you would sit there. It would take all your notifications. It wouldn't show you anything. And then when you finished your movie, you went on your phone, you said turn off. And based on the time that you spent in the movie with your phone turned off, Cinemark knew that you were in their theater, that you watched the movie, you didn't touch your phone, and they rewarded you points to get like a free popcorn, a free soda, free candy, whatever it was, or points to like a percentage off a ticket or like $1 off or something. And it kept people off their phones during the movie. I remember it worked for me. I loved it because I was like, oh, because the reward was big enough. It was like, here, dude, it was like, if you do this twice, you get a free drink. And that's like $6. And to me in high school, I was like, that's great.
Yeah, I'm doing this anyway. I might as well.
Mine as well.
I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck you were giving. I was giving shit points.
I
I
was
turned
gonna-
I turned that thing off in the theaters
I was
because I
literally
was like,
gonna
"There's
say
no
you must
point."
have hit the lottery
that's-
because I remember my rewards were like shit. It was
Well,
like,
then it wasn't enough for you, and that's why I
it
didn't.
was like
work.
one corn dog. I was like, what the fuck was a corn dog?
Yeah, and then the other thing was like, "Oh, it expires in a week." I'm like, "I'm not coming back in
No,
a week."
That was what they want. They want you to come back, and they're like, "Here, come back."
I'm
use it
like,
again."
"Okay, yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna stay on my phone."
This episode was a Cinemark brainstorming office environment.
Yeah.
So if you know someone from Cinemark, you could send this to them.
Or
this
any
episode.
movie theater chain. Ryan just has some beef with Cinemark in
Well,
particular.
just because Cinemark's the closest one to us. That's why I keep saying Cinemark.
Yeah, it's the
And
only
they
one I've
are
ever been to,
They
so
are the
the-
number one movie.
No,
Who's the-
AMC is. AMC's
So
number
what's
one.
like the top three? AMC,
It's AMC,
Cinemark, and
Cinemark,
Ritz?
Regal.
Or what's Ritz?
Regal. Ritz doesn't exist anymore. It was bought out by AMC.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But yeah, you know, movie theaters have to change. The experience, if we want it to continue, has to change. Let us know if you guys have any ideas in the comments, or DM us. Maybe we'll put a poll out on Instagram. But it's definitely something interested and look forward to. Try to save movies, because I love going to the theater. That's what we got to do. But thank you guys for listening. As always,
Music, take us out. Peace. Later. Okay. Dude, I gotta pee so bad.